Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.
Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean,
Because that would be stupid.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
I approve this measure.
I really don't see Apple ever doing that.
I am Nadella. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing.
Welcome, everybody, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host today, Caleb, and I'm here with Landen.
Hello.
And an empty space to my left,
Yeah.
where Wes would normally be sitting.
Yeah.
He is unable to join us.
We're not going to fire him this time. He's got a good excuse.
Yes. Last week we did fire him because he was just sick. That's not a good excuse. We've decided.
It's true.
Landon's still here.
I've been sick for the past month and I've been here.
And you're all you listeners are well aware that I show up every time I'm sick.
We name episodes after Caleb being sick.
We should just start naming episodes after the various illnesses that I come to the podcast with. Okay, so this week is... We could not postpone recording another week on Wes's behalf, simply because this past week was the Consumer Electronics Show for 2019 in Las Vegas, Nevada. And that is a week-long event where basically every tech company in the world, except Apple, shows up and talks about what they're going to be doing for the next year. And then there's a whole bunch of other companies who aren't going to be doing anything for the next year, but they show up with a whole bunch of demos of stuff that is a pie-in-the-sky dream of, like, maybe we'll see this in 2025 or something like that, which actually is what LG's foldable displays used to be.
True.
But we're getting some actual products out of that, so...
Yeah, not from LG.
Well,
kind of. But...
We're getting the rollable
I
display
want that.
from LG. Well, we will get to those things.
Yes, we will.
So we have a whole lot of news to talk about. And actually, interestingly, Apple kind of was there, even though they weren't actually there.
Yeah.
Which was with some kind of surprising announcements. So, yeah, we'll get to that. I'm going to go ahead and start us off and talk about tech. Then Landon's going to talk about tech. And then I'm going to talk about gaming because, yeah, there's a lot of games companies that show up to this stuff too.
Yes.
So I'm going to start with Samsung because they made an announcement about when the event for their Galaxy 10 was going to be, and nobody cares about anything else that Samsung said at CES.
Mostly.
I did want to mention, they announced 3 monitors that I thought were noteworthy. One of them, the UR59C, because naming monitors is
just as difficult as naming phones.
I don't think they brand monitors. They're just like, yeah, we're just going to slap some numbers onto this thing and forget actually branding the thing. But
yeah, which
whatever.
Is fine as a monitor.
Yeah. But this thing, it's a 4K panel, targeted at content creators, has very high contrast, extremely accurate colors and stuff like that. They also announced the Samsung Space, which actually is a named monitor, which I thought was interesting. This thing clamps to the back of the desk and can sit up flat against a wall. So the idea being that it saves space on top of your desk.
That is pretty smart, actually.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. It's mostly just a stand and then a thin monitor.
Right.
It's available 27-inch version that's 1440p or a 32-inch version that can be 4K if you'd like. They also announced the CRG9 gaming monitor, which is notable for being a 32:9 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
This is what we call a super ultra wide.
I really want one of their ultra wide angle monitors. They're so cool.
This thing is so stupid looking. So it's 5120 by 1440 is what the resolution on this thing is. So it is basically a 5K monitor cut in half horizontally. It's just the bottom half of a 5K monitor.
Yeah.
It's like...
Well, it's like having 2 monitors side by side.
2 ultra-wide monitors side by side. It's really ridiculous looking.
I still want one.
It looks pretty impressive. Like sitting on a desk, it takes up the entire width of the desk. It is like, I want to say like a 42-inch square technically, but it's not that tall. It's just really, really wide. It does have HDR10 support and a 120 hertz refresh rate because it is a gaming monitor. It also supports FreeSync for all of you gamers out there. What I thought was interesting about these three monitors, the first one is $500, which for a content creator, super high quality with really good colors, 4K panel, $500 is actually one of the better prices that we've seen. And I'm really excited to see that. The second one, the Samsung Space, I think is really cool just because if you have a small desk, that's a great way to save space with this monitor. It actually looks pretty impressive. And that thing starts at $400, which, again, not a bad price for an interesting product that nobody else really seems to be working with. If you want something like that, you have to buy a separate VESA mount for a different monitor that you buy.
Yeah.
Samsung provides the solution in the box. The last one has no price, so that one's going to be
expensive,
really expensive. So 2 cool monitors and 1 absolutely ridiculous monitor, but some monitors. Samsung also had the wall at the show. Now, the wall was there last year, technically.
Yeah.
It's basically just a giant flipping TV that is just a wall that's a display. This is technically a product. You can technically order it from Samsung if you have the budget of a Fortune 500 company. So basically what it is for Fortune 500 companies to use to decorate their lobbies and stuff like that. It's actually pretty cool technology. It's a modular system, the way that they showed it off this year, so that you could have these little display modules and you'd build your own display of any size out of these little modules that were like 10 inches by 10 inches or something like that. And what I thought was most interesting about them is this is, as far as I'm aware, the first purchasable product that has micro LEDs as the base technology. So micro LEDs are basically, they're tiny, tiny, tiny LEDs. So OLED is organic light emitting diode, and those are just really, really small LEDs. These things are even smaller than those, and they're non-organic, which means that they have all of the benefits of OLED. That means that there's no backlight, so they're super thin. That when you're showing black, the LEDs are off, which means you're saving a lot of energy, but they don't have the main drawback of OLED, which is that the organic component degrades over time, causing burn-in. And so micro LED probably is the future of display technology as we see it today. And Samsung's got a product that if you're insanely rich, you can buy that uses the things. So that's pretty cool to see. I'm happy that technology is coming because I love the displays, like the display quality of OLED displays. I'm just not a huge fan of going back to having to worry about burn-in because, I left that behind with all of my CRT monitors.
Yeah.
I'd really rather not go back. So that's pretty cool. They also announced their Bixby speaker.
Yeah, well, they had it a while ago, but
that's true. They announced it. Yeah. Now they're like, oh, look, here it is. You can have demos with it. It's coming soon. Did they actually announce a release date for it? I didn't think
see
they
one,
did.
But I don't know.
They probably will at the Galaxy event next month. Wait, was that next month? 2 months?
February?
Yeah, February. So, yeah, it still looks like a little pot-bellied, I don't know, giant Google Home with tripod legs on it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh, such an ill-informed design. Anyways, that was Samsung. LG, I want to talk about LG for a minute because LG had basically all the same stuff as Samsung for about the same prices in terms of their display stuff, which I thought was pretty cool. Like Samsung makes really good displays. They have great display technology. There's no arguing with that. But it is nice to see that LG is staying competitive with them. Having more options is good, in capitalism. So that...
Well, and when it comes to, especially TV-size displays, LG has the better displays in most cases. Now, granted, the wall is probably going to be better because of what it is.
The wall is pretty darn impressive.
But that's not a consumer product. Well, it is, but it's not.
It's not.
It's
not,
a rich consumer product.
Not us
Yeah.
as consumers.
Whereas the LG, like the normal TVs, if you want the highest quality display you can get, I mean, either of them you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But LG is technically the better one.
Yep. And actually, on that note, they were there with their 4K OLED TVs, 4K nanocell TVs that matched up really nicely with all of Samsung's OLED TVs and QLED TVs. And in terms of price as well, they were all very competitive. And LG was there with an 8K display. That was one thing that Samsung had was they had an 8K OLED display and actually a QLED display 8K.
Yeah.
I think. They had both. And LG was there with their own 8K displays as well. So Samsung and LG are both going to be releasing 8K displays this year. Samsung, I think, is going to come first. They had like more solid dates. I don't think LG said dates. I think we're kind of expecting fourth quarter for them. But the most interesting thing that LG had, right? So Samsung had the wall. That's their thing that LG just can't match. LG has a speaker bar with really big speakers in it that sound really nice and a 65-inch TV that pops up out of the top.
Yeah.
Which is dope. So this thing is the fruition of all of the demos LG has been showing us for like 5 years at CES. It's a TV that rolls up.
Yep. And they did have this last year, but it's
Yes.
actually coming to consumers this year.
Yep. You're going to be able to buy it.
And it looks so cool.
It really does.
I remember last year in their demo for this product, they were showing it like if you were just listening to music on this, it would roll up and just show, it would roll up like 6 inches or something like that and just show like play, pause, next in a timeline of where your music was and stuff like that. And that's amazing. Like that's cool
fantastic.
Because then you don't have the whole screen doing something.
Right.
Just to play music, you know?
Exactly.
It's so cool.
Awesome. And, they were showing that off. They have added some functionality to it. So now, because the thing is obviously a smart TV. It's going to cost like $5,000 or $6,000. So, really expensive TV. Of course, it has smart functionality.
Right.
It's going to be able to control your smart home and stuff like that. And all of that functionality is now also displayed when the TV just kind of slides up a little bit. So you've got your music playback, smart home controls and stuff like that with this screen just as like a tiny little like auxiliary display to the speakers that they put in the soundbar base that are quite nice from what I understand. And then if you want to watch TV, you get a 65-inch 4K OLED panel that just slides up out of the top, and it's a TV.
Yeah.
Super cool.
And from what I understand, it works with Google Assistant, Alexa, and HomeKit, right?
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure that was one thing Samsung and LG both announced. All of their TVs coming that are from here on out are going to be supported by all of these smart home assistants, which is awesome.
Yes, which we'll get to actually in just 1 second.
Right.
I did want to mention a couple of other things that came from LG. First of all, the 49WL590C.
That's a good name.
Which is a monitor that is a 32 by 9 super ultra wide display, just like Samsung's. I also kind of wanted to mention they had a normal ultra wide that was on display, so 21 by 9 instead of 32 by 9. This one's the 38GL950G. So this one is pretty cool because this is a full-on gaming display, so it's 3840 by 1600, so a little bit taller than 1440p. And it's 144 hertz refresh rate. This is the first LG monitor to have a G-Sync module in it. So if you're an NVIDIA gamer, that matters to you. They also had a version of one of their gaming monitors that had an all-in-one computer built into it.
Interesting.
It was an AMD system that, like CPU, graphics card, RAM, everything. Normally, when you see an all-in-one computer, it comes from somebody like Dell or HP or someone like that, and they take an LG or Samsung monitor and slap it onto the front. In this case, this is an LG monitor with a computer from who knows
Huh.
who put that together slapped into the back, which was kind of a weird way to do that. But okay, LG, you know, let us know how that goes. But yeah, the next piece of news that does involve both Samsung and LG and Sony and Vizio is that all four of them, their smart TVs and actually Vizio, all of their smart TVs since 2016.
Yeah.
This is where Apple comes into the thing, because Apple did not have a presence there, except they totally did. All of their smart TVs from here on out are going to support AirPlay 2, which means you're going to be able to AirPlay music from your Apple devices to the TVs, well, music, video, whatever, anything you can AirPlay. You're going to be able to use your iPhone as a remote for the smart TV functionality. You're going to be able to use Siri via these devices as well, and they'll be able to control your HomeKit stuff. So that's weird.
I think this is Apple looking at the popularity of the Chromecast and like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, a Chromecast and AirPlay are basically the same thing.
Yep.
So, I mean, I could see, and like Vizio has had cast-enabled TVs since at least 2016 or earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of TVs are getting that built into it. If not, you can just buy a $35 Chromecast and throw it onto whatever TV you have.
Yep.
So this is really smart by Apple.
Yeah.
And surprising.
It is pretty surprising. What's even more surprising, actually, is that this is specifically just Samsung, but Samsung smart TVs are going to come with the flipping iTunes store on them now. You'll be able to listen to music and purchase and watch movies from Apple's store via the Samsung interface without connecting any Apple devices to the TV at all.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's bizarre.
It's I kind of get why Apple would do it, because more revenue in services, which is what they want.
I just don't get why it's Samsung.
Like right. But as a consumer, for me, even if I used iTunes for things like that, I don't know if I would do this, because especially for movies wise, because of Movies Anywhere, I'll buy it somewhere else and it'll be in iTunes anyways.
Yeah.
After an hour of having it.
Like, my whole thing is I have never used a Samsung smart device, Blu-ray players, TVs, whatever, and not hated the software interface. Like, absolutely despised it. And honestly, it's worth $150 to me to buy an Apple TV to plug into the thing so that I don't have to use Samsung stuff.
Right.
Like,
See, I've never used Samsung stuff in general. I've used Sony's, I've used LG's. Well, I've used LG's older UI, which is hot garbage.
Yeah, that's true. Some of their newer stuff isn't terrible. I have used some Vizio smart TVs that actually, like, the user interface wasn't awful.
Yeah, Vizio's isn't too bad. And right now I've got a TCL TV that's got Roku built in, and that's basically Apple TV.
Yeah.
And it's
minus
really
games.
Easy to use. Right.
But Apple TV really is not.
It's
not making waves
games
in the gaming space like some people had thought it might. But yeah, so that was a pretty big announcement all about Apple. Pretty much the only other presence that Apple had is a whole bunch of HomeKit accessories for basically everything. Doorbells, outlets, light switches, security cameras, shower heads, the works. There was one other thing that was Apple related that I wanted to mention. So Mophie has announced battery cases for the current lineup of Apple phones. This is interesting. Like, okay, battery pack cases for iPhones, that's not a new thing. Traditionally, they've always, you have to plug it into the lightning port on the bottom. And so they have this giant chin. It adds quite a lot of space onto the bottom of the phone.
All right.
These things charge the phone via inductive charging.
Which makes sense.
Which means it adds no mass onto the bottom of the phone. It's just clamps onto the back. And you can charge these things by plugging a lightning cable into them, or by sticking them on a wireless charger. So you can charge the battery pack wirelessly, and then the battery pack wirelessly charges your phone. So that's
pretty cool.
It's good implementation of the thing. That's pretty much all the stuff that involved Apple.
You're not going to talk about the giant ad that they had across the street?
I guess we probably should mention
Come
the
on.
ad. Yes.
It was brilliant.
So there was it went up a couple of days before CES started. Apple rented the side of a hotel right there next to the convention and stuck this ginormous ad on it that said, "What happens on your iPhone stays on your iPhone."
Yeah.
Which is a nice play on the "what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas."
Yes.
And a nice way to poke fun at all of the other smartphone vendors that were there that are running Android, that Apple can say our platform is more secure than theirs. That is one of the few concrete things Apple can say about Android. It is not necessarily saying that Android is not secure. It just means
It's just differently secure.
It's not the same kind of secure. And it's also not 100% accurate to say that what happens on my iPhone stays on my iPhone, because really that should read, what happens with my Apple services on my iPhone stays inside the boundaries of my Apple ID, which just doesn't go on a poster quite as well.
Either way, it was still funny, but I thought it was very ironic, though, that they put it on the side of a Marriott, which had a massive security breach this past year. So that was funny.
Nice.
I liked the ad. I thought that was funny, but then the irony behind where they placed it was also quite beautiful.
That's perfect. I love it. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Ish. I mean, cool. It was funny. I laughed. I saw the ad. I was like, normally Apple doesn't do stuff like that. Like they don't. Okay. It's been a while since Apple has done something like that, and it was kind of fun to see. Okay, so there was some other technology that was pretty cool. It was just kind of floating around. Like, this is just a list of random stuff that kind of caught my attention while I was going through all the things that were announced and that were being shown off at CES. The first one is the Royal Flex Pi, which is
It's a great name.
It's a great name. So it's a Chinese company that have made the world's first foldable foldable screen smartphone.
Yeah.
It's not the world's first foldable smartphone because Samsung has been releasing those in South Korea for ages. They just are like giant flip phones with a 3-inch screen on the top. And then last year, who was it that released the one that had two screens, like basically two devices that had a hinge on it?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Can't remember who that was. So this one is like, it's an OLED flexible display that folds, and you can fold the phone in half. And it's kind of interesting. It's for sale in China right now, actually, and they're hoping to bring it to the US sometime this year, but they're not entirely sure if they'll be able to get it through the FCC quickly.
Yeah.
I'm not super impressed with the device, just to kind of as a first version of this technology, because there's a giant air gap, like Surface Book style, except much worse.
Yeah.
And I cannot imagine like the worry I would have sticking that thing into my pocket, just waiting to snap the screen in half when I sat down wrong or applied pressure in the wrong place. So yeah, that would be worrisome. It also folds the opposite direction of how I would want it to fold. Like it folds such that the screen is on the outside, which I get because they want you to be able to fold it and then use the screen,
right?
Like just half of the screen and that kind of thing. And it enables a lot of really interesting kind of technology showcases that they can do with this thing. That said, that's the money part of the device, is that display right there. And that's the thing that turns it into a full-size tablet when you pull it out of your pocket. I don't want that to be the part that is going to be super prone to getting scratched up in my pocket and stuff like that. I would rather that be on the inside than have a secondary display on the outside, which is what Samsung's foldable phone is rumored to be. So I don't know. It's there. The technology exists. We can now do that, and you can actually buy this thing if you want. So foldable smartphones, possibly the future.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
I
believe that they are claiming, 200,000 bends?
Yeah, something like that.
Which is a lot, but at the same time, not really.
So it works out fine if you figure the life of the smartphone will be about 2 years. Like if you're the type of person who keeps your phone for 2 years, 20,000 folds or 200,000 folds is 4 times a day for like 7 years or something like that. And so it's a large number of time. It's well over a 2-year lifespan. I would do it more than 4 times a day.
Oh, yeah.
I would unfold it more than 4 times a day. So obviously, but I mean, as long as it can last 2 years, that's kind of what's important. So I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't. I really like having a fully solid state device that there's no like, yeah, this is gonna break eventually kind of thing, you know, like laptops have hinges and stuff like that. Like hard drives, eventually they just break. There's nothing you can do about it. Physical movement causes parts to wear out. And that's why I would rather have a notch than a little chunk of my phone that slides up and down on a motor, because eventually that motor's gonna break.
Yeah.
It's only got so many actuations available. So I don't like having devices that have a lifespan when I buy them. You know, it's all like, yeah, sure, I understand that software is going to render my phone unusable in about 5 years, but I would rather the phone continue to keep working beyond that. You know? Anyways, Royal FlexPi. Royal, especially, like Royal is the name of the company. So Royal FlexPi. I love it. It's beautiful. Okay, Tile. They announced some partnerships with various Bluetooth chip manufacturers that Tile's technology is going to be built into those things right from the get-go, which is, I mean, makes a lot of sense because the Tile is just a Bluetooth locator device.
Yeah.
And so building that into various Bluetooth chips makes a lot of sense. So good chance that any device you buy that has Bluetooth this next year or the year after is going to have Tile functionality built into it, and you'll be able to use your smartphone to locate the thing, which, you know, if you have like wireless headphones or something like that, could be super useful. I still want to buy a bunch of tiles and like tape them onto the bottoms of my Frisbees, so if I lose those things, I can track them down.
I remember we had that idea like 5 years ago.
Like right after Tile, right after they announced the first one, I was like, oh, that would work so great.
That'd be awesome.
And then for April Fool's that year, Innova announced a Frisbee that had a Bluetooth locator built into it. And I was like, why is that a joke? Why don't you build that? Release it. I would totally buy one. Anyways,
yes.
That's a little off topic. AMS announced an under-display light and IR proximity sensor.
Interesting.
So AMS is one of the companies that makes the sensors for the fronts of smartphones that are on. I mean, they're a supplier for basically every major smartphone manufacturer. So they're the ones that make the proximity sensor that's on the front of the iPhone, for instance, that tells the phone when it's up next to your face so that it can turn the screen off. The ability to put that behind the display, an OLED display, obviously.
Right.
Means that is just a couple of more sensors that you can move away from a notch. So smaller notches in 2019.
And still have sensors on the front of the display, on front of the phone.
Exactly. So smaller notches in 2019. That's my watch cry. Artemis mirror. This was an interesting thing. So this is a mirror that will do eye tests on you. Will help you out with stuff like stretching exercises, can do virtual augmented reality try-on for like clothes and that kind of thing, can show you hair and makeup tutorials just right there on the mirror, can do teleconferencing, stuff like that. So smart mirrors.
All right.
What's interesting to me is in order for it to do the augmented reality stuff, it definitely has to have an array of cameras looking at you.
Yeah.
Hang that thing up in your bathroom.
Not creepy at all.
Oh, man.
Bathroom, bedroom, put it everywhere.
That goes along really well with that article I posted to Slack.
Get one of those and the Amazon Echo Look, and you're golden.
Yeah, you're fine. Well, and
then a Facebook portal.
And make sure that you're using Ring cameras and doorbells
we'll get to that.
all over the place. Another cool thing, the Ovis suitcase. So this is an autonomous suitcase. It follows you through the airport.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yes.
If it could keep up with you.
It would be super cool if it worked.
Right.
I have seen this thing in demonstrations, and like the technology is sound. It can be done. I don't think we're there yet. And I say that from the perspective of a person who works at a company that manufactures autonomous vehicles. Like, that is literally what we do. And making a vehicle see a person and follow that person is technology that we have, as long as there is nothing else around and you're going really slow. So walking speeds, that's a good speed to deal with. But airports are kind of crowded.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot going on in airports.
Maybe if you only fly red eye.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
That might be okay. I would still be worried about, like, the TSA seeing you just wandering through the airport with a bag just kind of following you. Like,
there's a bag
4
10
feet
feet
away.
behind you, and you're just like, oh.
Like, that's technically unattended luggage if you're not holding onto it. So, good times. I don't think that thing is going to be a product this year, but
no.
It's an interesting piece of technology. It would be interesting to see it actually, get released. I wanted to also mention Kohler. They were there. They announced a smart bathtub that won't overfill, which is kind of interesting to me because we've had bathtubs that won't overflow for ever.
Because they have drains.
It's called
in them.
an auxiliary drain that just sits up at the top and water drain. But yeah, apparently we need a smart one that'll shut the water off.
That makes, I guess, if you're trying to save water,
that's true. Then you're not wasting water.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But for the overfilling thing, that's the wrong way to market this.
Right. No, it's a bathtub that saves water. Makes more sense to me than it's a bathtub that's not going to overflow, because I've never overflowed a bathtub ever.
You can try.
Yeah. I mean, if I plugged up that other drain, I guess I could do it, but I don't know why you would. They also announced an Alexa-enabled toilet.
What?
I thought that was probably the wrong place to put Alexa, but then there's also smart mirrors that they want you to hang in your bathroom too. So I don't know. Maybe this is just the year of Big Brother in the smart home industry, and I don't know. I'm not convinced. I did, however, actually order some smart home devices from China.
Yes.
So I'm
excited about this.
let the peoples know whether or not cheap Chinese
smart crap works.
Yep. Some of it has shipped.
Nice.
Others of it have not. Okay. The last general tech thing that I wanted to talk about that came out of CES was AMD's press conference. Now, I would just like to say that I don't think she's actually the interim CEO of AMD anymore. I believe Lisa Su is now officially the actual CEO of AMD. She is saving computers as we know them. I have decided. Because for years and years, Intel has been making whatever the crap they want and doing the least amount of work humanly possible to produce quote-unquote new products, and resting on their laurels, and computers have not been getting better, and prices have been going up, and it's just the worst thing ever. NVIDIA has been doing the same dang thing. AMD is literally the only competition for both of them. AMD is the only company competing with Intel and x86 processors, and AMD is also the only company competing with NVIDIA in consumer graphics cards. So, yeah. A couple of years ago, AMD released Ryzen after they got rid of their last CEO and stuck Lisa Su in as an interim CEO. And Ryzen finally started twisting the screws in on Intel's processor business. AMD started to claw back some market share, and Intel started to get a little scared. And so for the first time in like 5 years, Intel released a actually new processor by giving us 6 cores on a consumer chip instead of just 4. This past year, just a couple of months ago, they announced a whole bunch of new ones. Now you can get 8 cores from Intel and 6 cores on some of their cheaper CPUs. You can't get dual core Intel chips anymore. It's just like, yes, this is fantastic. AMD finally applied some pressure. Intel is finally starting to move, and that's great. What's even better is AMD isn't letting up. They announced Ryzen 3 that is supposed to be coming out the middle of 2019. So that will be before Intel's next round of processors. And those are going to support PCI Gen 4, which is stupid fast in terms of internal connectivity. And they're based on the Zen 2 architecture. So Ryzen is based on the Zen architecture. The second generation Ryzen chips is based on Zen Plus. Wasn't a whole lot of gain to be had there, but Zen 2 is supposed to be like a pretty big deal. And what's interesting is the chip that she was showing on stage, which was an 8-core 16-thread processor that is a pre-production model that was running in all of their demos underclocked and underpowered because they just, it's pre-production. We haven't finished the thing yet. We don't want to blow up our CPU, but running tests on this thing with it underclocked, this thing was matching the performance of Intel's current 9900K, which is a 8-core 16-thread processor, matching it, like task for task in productivity workloads, especially, which is where having that many threads actually matters. It was keeping up. So imagine what that's going to look like once the thing gets finished and once they actually get it up to clock speed. It's going to be beating this thing. I'd be willing to bet that it's going to be beating it for like $300 less. Because that's just the way that AMD's pricing has been working so far. My favorite part about that is Lisa Su was standing up on stage holding up one of these, processors on the little piece of silicon, and you could see there were 2 separate processor dies on the board she was holding up. One of them is AMD's little controller thing that allows them to have so much memory bandwidth for these processors and so many PCI lanes on a basic consumer level chip. That was pretty cool. The other one was the CPU die. The way that the CPU die itself, 8 cores, 16 threads, was positioned, there was room for another one right underneath it. It was empty.
Huh.
So I kind of think they were playing it close to the chest, and I think that the top-end AMD chip we're going to be getting in 2019 is going to be a 16-core, 32-thread chip on a consumer-level CPU. This is non-Threadripper. This is socket AM4 generic everyman processor with 16 cores. Which means
awesome.
That Threadripper 3, which is also going to be based on the Zen 2 package, that thing, so currently you can get Threadripper with 32 cores and 64 threads. It'll be 64 cores and 128 threads on a Threadripper. Oh my gosh, AMD is just, they're hosing Intel down, and it's fantastic. I love it. They also talked about their EPYC Gen 2 processors. So EPYC is the server line of CPUs. They did some tests some demos with these things. They showed the performance of their Gen 2 EPYC processors versus Intel's top-of-the-line Xeon W processors. Or not Xeon W. Xeon W is their workstation chip, their server chip. Their server Xeon. I can't remember what those things are called. So what they had is one of their EPYC chips versus 2 Xeon chips in Cinebench, which is a CPU test that just renders an image using nothing but CPUs. And higher clock speeds on the cores are important in Cinebench, but what really matters is having a ton of threads. And so in order to get Intel's platform up to the same number of threads as AMD's, they had to use 2 Xeon chips. And then AMD's single processor still beat Intel's dual processor setup. So imagine an EPYC system with 2 of those things in it. It's just great. AMD's processor, they're doing so much work right now, and it is fantastic to watch. They're making a lot of big jumps in terms of catching Intel on single core performance, which makes a big difference for just general consumers that are using quad core chips and gamers. And right after their conference, there was an article posted to Mac Rumors where they talked about how Apple should, Apple's going to be switching to their own ARM-based chips sometime, but they're probably going to start on the low end with the MacBook Air, the MacBook, and their lower powered laptops in order to do that. And the suggestion that they made was, in the meantime, why not switch to AMD's processors instead of Intel's?
No kidding.
That would have been a stupid suggestion to make even just 2 years ago.
Right.
AMD's processors were just obviously inferior, but they're not anymore. And it would be like, I mean, especially since like the Zen 2 chips are going to have the same performance as Intel's, and they're gonna cost less. There's no reason to stick with Intel at this point. Like, I don't know.
And if you're Apple, you look at that, you're like, hey, it's going to cost less. As a consumer, you think, ooh, cheaper MacBooks. No, Apple's gonna say, ooh, more revenue.
Yes, Apple's gonna say, ooh, more revenue, which is, I think, the reason Apple might actually do that.
Which is fine.
Honestly, I'm okay with that because, frankly, I don't know. We're gonna be getting at least the same performance out of the deal, and once again, that would light even more of a fire under Intel if Apple, who, yeah, they don't make up a ton of Intel's business because they don't really sell all that many computers in the big scheme of things, but they're a very high-profile company.
Oh, yeah.
Very high-profile customer of Intel. And if they suddenly start buying from AMD, oh man, that is going to have ripples in Intel's business. And I'd actually love to see that. I really liked one of the points that they made was that the fan club is included in the switch to AMD. And they made the statement that in the short term, it never hurts to have a bunch of rabid fanboys who are psyched to buy your computer because it uses their favorite company's processors and GPUs. There are Intel fans and there are AMD fans, but the AMD fan base has the sort of ride or die, always the underdog attitude that should fit right in with Apple. If you don't think that an AMD fan is going to consider buying their first Mac just because it has a Ryzen Threadripper chip inside, you haven't met an AMD fan. And they're absolutely right. They also had a screenshot of the Intel subreddit versus the AMD subreddit that I thought was pretty interesting. The caption says, "A passionate fan base is when you have a fraction of the market share but more than 4 times as many subscribers to your subreddit." So, yeah, that's dope. AMD makes me very happy.
The other really nice thing about that is it would make it a lot easier to make a cheaper Hackintosh.
It would. That's absolutely true.
Because right now you have to buy Intel
Yeah.
to do that. And that raises your cost minimum $200.
Yep. Absolutely. And for the pro consumers of Macs, the folks that are really looking forward to the Mac Pro, the folks who went out and bought the iMac Pro, those guys that are looking at Intel's Xeon chips, oh my gosh, the cost difference between a Threadripper and a Xeon is like Threadrippers are like half the cost of a Xeon. Like we talked about when the iMac Pro came out, about how the thing starts at $5,000 and how, holy crap, that's expensive. But then I was all like, yeah, but $3,000 of that is Intel's processor. Like, that is a super expensive chip. Threadripper's like a Threadripper that has the same number of cores as is in the iMac Pro and the same performance, because that's actually the one thing that AMD has been like in gaming performance, single core performance. They still lag behind Intel, at least until Zen 2 launches in theory. But the Threadripper chips, that doesn't matter because they have more cores. And they really, in productivity and workstation tasks, they blow Intel's chips away. Even the lower end Xeon Ws. They just knock them out of the park. And they do it for half the price. So putting a Threadripper chip into the Mac Pro, that would be flipping awesome. And honestly, I think that in that case, with those really expensive computers, I think that would actually drop the price of the Apple computer by quite a bit. The last thing that AMD mentioned, I won't really go into a lot of detail on this. This is purely a gaming thing, basically. They announced Vega 2, which, is actually called the Radeon 7. So, last year they released the Vega 56 and Vega 64 graphics cards. And this year they're releasing the Radeon 7, which is a follow-up to those two. In terms of raw performance, it matches the RTX 2080 from NVIDIA, which is good. That's a really good performer. They announced a price for it. It's going to be $700, which is the price of the 2080. So, price to performance, it's the same. They use about the same amount of power. They do about the same performance in terms of games and, in theory, productivity workloads. But here's the thing where AMD might actually be ahead in productivity workloads, because the 2080 is only available with 8 gigs of RAM. You can get the Radeon 7 with 16 gigs of HBM2, which is stupid. Like, if you want that much RAM in an NVIDIA graphics card, you have to buy the newly released RTX Titan, which costs $4,500. So yeah, it's like literally over 4 times the price, like 5 times the price to get more RAM than this thing has. So yeah, good on AMD. They are finally putting the screws to NVIDIA, and they've been doing it to Intel, and it's super great to watch. And just leaves me feeling all warm and fuzzy inside. So yes, that's all of the tech news that I want to talk about from CES. There's gaming stuff still too, so we'll get to that. Okay, take it away, Landon.
All right, now on to the things that I want to talk about from CES. The most stuff I want to talk about Google related was Assistant.
Yes.
Because it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Like everywhere.
Literally everywhere.
Like even random products that you don't think need smart things are getting Google Assistant.
That has been a consistent theme for the past couple of years of CES.
True.
It just keeps getting more and more. I'm like, who is paying somebody to come up with some of these ideas?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe it's the future. Maybe it's the future. But all I'm saying is Star Trek didn't have some of this stuff.
Right.
And Star Trek had some pretty weird stuff in it. So
yeah. I don't know. It's interesting to see all the different things that are getting smart things.
Yeah.
But I just want to highlight some of the things that I thought were interesting. So speaking of smart mirrors, LG
Oh, good.
has the Styler Mirror Door. So it's a closet door that's got a giant mirror on it that has Assistant built in.
Okay. It's a little bit better than hanging it in your bathroom.
Not a little bit, but
a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not going to be recording you every time you get into the shower.
Yeah.
It might be recording you every time you change your clothes, but
depends. I mean, I know a lot of houses where the closet is also part of the bathroom.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So, I mean,
that's a fair
there's
point.
That. And also, I mean, you can put the door wherever you want.
That's true. You should put it on your front door.
Yes, that's what I was just thought.
People walk up like, why is there a mirror on this front door? And then it starts doing like a virtual, like augmented reality thing. And they're like, oh my gosh, and run away. That would be amazing, actually.
That would be rather awesome. Okay, now I have a reason to buy this.
There you go.
Okay, moving on. We mentioned that all of LG's smart TVs and Samsung smart TVs are getting Google Assistant, which is nice and about time.
Yeah.
The next thing I thought was really interesting is this product called Flow by Moen. It's I'm just going to read this thing. It says, it can provide information about water pressure, flow rate, and temperature within your home's water supply system. And it can be used through Google Assistant, like I said, or Alexa, or if this, then that.
And so this is, you install this on the water line going into your house.
Right.
Well, okay. You have a plumber come and install this on the water line going in. Probably just,
I mean, it doesn't look like it'd be that difficult, but you'd have to probably cut some pipe.
You'd have to cut the pipe and install the thing into it.
Yeah. But at $500, it's a lot. You'd have to really want this.
It's pretty expensive.
It looks like there is a manual shut-off on it, but I would hope that you could shut it off by just asking.
Well, I would assume, like, if it's got if this, then that support, then if this, then that is, for those of you who aren't aware, is a it's kind of a smart home control service, but it's basically just a service that allows you to build your own commands for pieces of electronics. And that's all it does, is it issues commands to a device.
It's kind of like, I mean, Google and Apple have kind of done their own thing with Siri shortcuts and Google Home Assistant routines.
Yeah.
Does basically the same thing, but it's if this then that has been around for a lot longer.
Yes. And if this then that is a service you can trigger with pretty much any of the voice assistants. Like you can create a task in if this then that, and then you can ask Alexa to perform that task. And so, like that's what it is. So I would assume you're able to shut off the water via voice commands. Otherwise there wouldn't really be any reason to support if this then that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. But it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, if
you really care about
it might be kind of nice to like walk into the bathroom and see, oh, holy crap, like there's a pipe burst or something and flooding, and then just kind of scream like, Alexa, turn off the water, and shuts off the water to your house.
That would be nice.
That's actually, I mean,
that's okay.
you'd still have water coming out of the pipes for a little while after that, but
Yeah,
if
you wouldn't have
you're
to run to your shutoff valve and do it
right,
yourself.
exactly. And if it's like a tub that bursts, like there's usually not a shutoff right there in the bathroom for something like that. So if your tub won't shut down or something like that, then you can just kind of shout at your smart assistant and have them take care of it.
Yeah.
So that would be cool.
All right. Next thing, JBL announced what they're calling the Link Drive, and what this is, it's basically like a, how do I describe it? Like a Google Home for your car.
Okay.
It plugs into the cigarette lighter, and it's just a microphone and a speaker. Like I think actually it can connect to your car between Bluetooth or via Bluetooth.
Yeah.
But also auxiliary if you don't have Bluetooth.
Right.
Which for me doesn't do me any good because I don't have either of those in my vehicle.
Wow.
Yeah,
that kind of sucks. I'm not sure how to help you with that.
I'm fine. I have like a 2-minute commute, so it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, fair point.
But it is kind of cool. So you can have Google Assistant inside your car if you don't use it on your phone.
Right. That is okay.
Yeah.
I'm also a little like I don't really use smart assistants while I drive, but
well, I get it. Like with Android Auto or what's CarPlay, Apple CarPlay, they're trying to make it more and more hands-free, and that's one of the ways you can get around these.
That's true.
These interfaces is via voice.
Yeah.
And so being able to do that without using Android Auto or CarPlay or whatnot is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but it also still connects to your phone and uses your phone to do the tasks. This is just a different miking system, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's the kind of thing where like if you just want to have a permanent fixture in your car and you don't like you're not in the habit of connecting your phone to like your speaker system or taking it out of your pocket or something like that, then I guess maybe that's the one thing. If you don't take your phone out of your pocket, this thing will probably be able to hear you better.
Yeah.
So,
and Anchor also came out with their own version of this as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. 2
at once. Huh.
Yeah. So that's kind of
must be more of a problem than I think it is.
I guess so. I don't know. Harman Kardon has announced that their speaker lineup is going to be getting Google Assistant.
Ah, yes.
So that's actually nice because really high-end speakers,
they're good. Yeah, they're
getting
good
Google
speakers.
Assistant. On the same side of that, Sonos has announced that which speaker line did they say? The Sonos One and the Sonos Beam.
Oh.
And potentially older models are going to be getting Google Assistant.
Wow. Okay.
So that's pretty nice.
That is nice.
So high-end speaker market with Google Assistant.
Yeah. Yep.
Finally. Other than like JBL because they've had it for a while.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kohler, they announced a voice-lighted mirror.
Interesting.
That does go in the bathroom.
Okay. Okay. This is a problem I did not think needed solving, but I guess lots of people disagreed with me.
They do already have an Alexa version, apparently.
Really?
And that one costs $1,665.
Oh my gosh. So does this one have like a built-in display and do augmented reality stuff like the other smart mirror we were talking about?
Or
is this 100%. One just like it lights up and it's
really hope that it doesn't just light up. I would assume for that price
it does
more.
Yeah, like
that's a 24-inch by 33-inch model. There's also a 40 by 33.
Oh my gosh.
That costs $2,165.
Okay, yeah, at that price it better have a flipping computer built into it.
It better be it better make me a sandwich. Or something.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of money.
That is.
There's now finally smart outlets. Not just smart plugs, but smart outlets are coming.
Yes.
Finally. And some of those were announced by different companies at CES, so that's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
I mean, especially like if you're doing new build home,
yeah.
like you should be considering putting stuff like that in there. It's
Yeah. I mean, if you're building a home or if you're remodeling certain
Yeah.
rooms and you're not considering, like, at least, like before this, USB outlets
yeah, yeah,
in certain rooms, especially like the bedroom or the kitchen or something,
yeah. Yep.
But now with this, a
Get
smart
these.
outlet,
Yeah.
you get that
Yep.
because why not?
I'm just going to go ahead and point out that would be a great thing to put in all of your kids' rooms, so that with a tap from your smartphone or a command to your Google Home or your Echo Dot or something like that, you can shut off power to all of their electronics.
Yeah.
And they won't be able to bypass it. Because like a smart plug, if you're all like, oh, no, I'm going to let your phone die because you're on it all the time or something like that and turn off power in their bedroom, they could just unplug the smart plug from the wall, plug direct, like whatever. But if it's the actual outlet, it's not really any way to get around that. They can't pull that thing out of the wall and then hook it directly up to the 120-volt line in the wall.
Yeah.
At least not without electrocuting themselves. So
along with that, there's also coming smart light switches with Assistant built in.
Yeah.
And there are already kind of these out there, but these are a little bit different, I guess. The one downside, obviously, they're going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
The outlets cost like $45 per outlet, which is not cheap.
That's pretty
but,
steep.
I mean, that's kind of to be expected when you're buying smart things.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're buying a smart plug, you're looking at $15 to $20 on the cheap end per plug.
Yep.
So that's $30 to $40
Unless
for an
you're
outlet.
buying it from
Unless
China.
you're buying it from China.
In which case it's $8 per plug. So
oh, goodness.
it's like almost half the price, and I'll let you know if that's a good idea or not.
Yeah.
I'm doing the research so you don't have to.
Thank
But
you,
seriously,
Caleb.
place them strategically right now because they are kind of expensive.
Right.
But, having these things like on your kitchen or next to the kitchen counter or something like that. And there's a lot of places where it would just be nice to have them.
Yeah.
So
these are the new clappers.
yes.
Instead of clapping, you tell it to turn
Mhm.
off, and there you go.
And it's more reliable than the clappers.
Definitely.
What I would actually be interested to see would be having these available for 240-volt implementations. So you could put one behind your oven or something like that. So that if you're away from home and you have that moment of, holy crap, did I turn the oven off? You can just shut off the power to your oven and you don't have to worry about your house burning down.
But wait, there's more.
Hey!
W Lab's smart countertop oven.
Hey! Perfect.
There's a way around that problem,
There
apparently.
you go. Yeah, buy that. And then
MSRP
you can just...
of $800 for basically a toaster oven.
Yeah. Well, but still.
But it's smart.
Hey.
Actually, I looked at this a while ago, and it's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of want one, even though I have no use case for it. But that's got Google Assistant, too.
I'm just thinking, stuff like that would be really great for people that have, anxiety or something like that. Because, they have that moment where they're out of the house and, oh my gosh, I turned the oven off, and they have to go back. It's like a freaking biological imperative. They can't get around that. They have to go home and make sure that the oven isn't on. And that can be debilitating. And yeah, sure, there's medication that can help with that. But it would also have a nice peace of mind if they could just turn it off from their smartphone.
Yeah.
So, there's lots of applications for that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of in the kitchen, Whirlpool owns KitchenAid. They announced the KitchenAid Smart Display. So this is a Google Assistant smart display thing from not a tech company.
Right.
But this kind of makes sense. It's kind of the same, I look at it as the same way of the smartwatch, whereas most Android Wear OS watches nowadays that are the more popular ones are coming from brands like Fossil.
Yes.
Companies that have made watches in the past.
Yeah.
Not tech companies.
Yeah.
And these smart displays make the most sense in the kitchen.
They really do. We've
And
had this conversation before about
yeah.
Cortana mounted computers attached to your fridge and stuff like that.
Right.
We've talked about this.
So having one of these companies make something like this, they know what to expect in a kitchen. It's smart.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look bad. It's good. I'll just read some of the specs. It's got IPX5 water resistance,
Oh, good.
That's you'd hope it would
Splash
have that.
proof.
Yes.
You know.
It's got a 10-inch screen, which is not bad. It is not cheap.
No.
They're expecting to be between $200 and $300.
Oh,
So,
that's not awful.
I mean, it's
either.
not horrible, but it's not. I mean, granted, it is a 10-inch display, so it's not small by any means. It's not like the Google Home Hub that's like ridiculously small. But it also, I'm not sure how it sounds.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I mean, it's not a bad idea.
No.
All right. Let's see. Oh, another one. Whirlpool announced a smart all-in-one washer and dryer.
Yay!
Because
Woohoo.
I'm going to put clothes in there and wait an hour, and then I'm going to say, "Hey, do my laundry." No, I'm going to do it when I put it in. These type of products, like really,
I'm not quite sure I get
really?
it.
I guess
So I technically have a smart washer and dryer. They're from LG.
yes.
They are smart enabled. And the smart functionality is that I can hook them up to Wi-Fi. I can download washing and drying profiles.
Okay.
So that's cool. I don't use it at all. I have no idea what the purpose of it is, but they were reasonably priced and they do a good job of cleaning my clothes. But yeah, it's kind of goofy. I'm not really sure I understand the purpose of having smart in devices like that.
The one thing I can see is if it alerts you on your phone when your clothes are done.
Because
I know that happens a lot where I forget that things need to be taken out of the dryer or whatnot. Especially like normally it's like forget to put things into the dryer from the washer, but this is an all-in-one.
Yeah.
So it does it automatically. But
yeah.
Still, knowing when it's done, that's kind of nice.
Well, right. Like if you got another batch that needs to go in or something like that, and in my case, I would be sitting in front of my computer with my headphones on playing video games.
Right.
And so I wouldn't hear it like a signal, but if my phone buzzed, I would see it. So yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Another one that I thought was rather interesting. This is kind of on the gaming side. Well, definitely on the gaming side. It's HP Omen 65-inch gaming display.
Yes.
A 65-inch gaming display.
Yes.
That's massive. And amazing.
Yeah.
It's a 4K gaming monitor, and it's got NVIDIA Shield TV built in, so that's why it's Google Assistant enabled, because it's an Android TV basically.
Yep.
Which that's kind of nice. It costs a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
It's $5,000.
Oh yeah.
But it's got 120 hertz refresh rate on a 65-inch display.
Yes, and very low latency inputs as well, which is traditionally a problem with gaming on TVs. Is they have high latency inputs versus computer monitors, but this is very low latency. It's one of the BFG displays, which are big freaking gaming displays that were announced at CES last year that were supposed to be all the rage in 2018, and then none of them got released. So this one's actually coming. Yay! But yeah, so you'd be able to plug it into consoles or computers and game that way and have high refresh rate on a really big 4K screen with low latency. Or you can game on the NVIDIA Shield that's built into the thing.
Right. Another one I thought was kind of cool. Instant Pot. They already have a Wi-Fi enabled Instant Pot, which I didn't know.
I didn't know.
Now they're going to have one that works with Google Assistant.
There you go. That actually does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like, put a meal in it in the morning and figure out how long it needs to cook, trigger it while you're at work or something like that.
Yeah. Especially like one of the nice things about the Instant Pot, we have one, not a smart one. Unfortunately, that one, but that costs a lot more money. But I mean, the nice thing about it is you can cook things that you would normally do in a crock pot.
Yep.
A lot faster.
Oh yeah.
So like the plus side to a crock pot is you put it in the morning, go to work, and come back and it's done.
Yep.
This, on the other hand, you get home, you still, depending on what it is, you still wait maybe an hour or two, but it doesn't take 8 hours.
Right.
So I mean, it's quicker, but you have to.
You do have to have that extra hour built in somewhere.
So if like say I've got an hour left to work, I want to have something ready to go. I'll put it in the morning, leave, and then just start it on my phone.
Yep. Yeah, that's actually a really, really good thought. Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
Does your Instant Pot it's a digital set, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a bummer. So you can't solve that problem with a smart outlet, unfortunately.
Right.
You could do that with crock pots that are like dial controlled. Like if you have something that only takes 4 hours to cook and you have an 8-hour workday, you can put it in the morning, set the dial to high or whatever, and then trigger it with a smart outlet halfway through the day. But you can't do that if there's a digital display or digital readout on it.
Yeah, no. That would be cool, though. Okay, next thing I want to talk about that I actually think is really cool. Lenovo came out with a smart clock.
Ah,
It's kind of like a smart display, but it doesn't use the same, like, Android things. I don't know. There's way too many different versions of Android for everything.
yeah.
But what this is, I mean, it's what it is. It's what it claims it to be. It's a smart clock.
Right.
It's got a 4-inch display. It's only $80, so it's not ridiculously expensive.
Nice.
It's got a USB-A input on the back, so you can charge your phone if you want to.
Oh.
It's got a mute switch on it. It's got a speaker built in. But predominantly, it's got, like, most of the time, it's just a clock face.
It's a clock. Yeah.
And right now, it's got 10 different clock faces you can choose from, and you can kind of customize those, like, different colors and things like that.
Right. Yeah.
And from what I've heard, this thing, it's got an ambient light sensor on it, and it gets really dark.
Oh, good.
Like, to the point that if you have lights on, you can't see what's on there.
Right.
But if it's dark at
You
night, you can.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be blaring light into your bedroom or wherever it is, which is always a problem with these type of things.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's been a problem with like digital clocks since the early days. Like the only ones that were acceptable to have in a bedroom were the red ones. You know, like
Right.
that had the really dim red LEDs in them. And I had an iPod dock that had an LCD display that was backlit by a blue LED, and that thing was a frickin' spotlight when you turned the lights off at night. It was so bright, it lit the room like it was day. And I never used the thing just because I hated it so much. So yes, that's an important thing to do if you're going to have a smart clock. Make it dim.
Yeah, I mean, I recently bought a new modem and router, and they both have blue LEDs, and they are ridiculously bright. My modem is much brighter than my router.
Yeah.
So I literally faced my modem towards the wall. So it still shines off of the wall.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad.
Yeah.
The router does face out, and it does have some light coming out, but man.
Yep. Good times.
It's awful. Very, very bright. So yes, having something that has that ambient light sensor on it that will go extremely dark is very, very nice to have.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Next thing, I don't know if we talked about this. I heard about this a little bit ago, but Dish has their Hopper DVR system.
Yeah.
It is getting, or already has, Google Assistant.
Oh.
So, like, a lot of those now, though, have voice-enabled remotes.
Yeah.
You push a button, you can search for things.
Yeah.
But being able to do that with, like, a Google Home or on your phone or something,
right,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can just tell Google to record something for you or go to with this channel or whatnot.
Yep.
You don't have to find the remote anymore.
Yay.
We're getting lazier. Woo-hoo.
Yay.
Yay for smart things. Or something like that.
Yay.
I guess. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. All right. One thing that I'm actually extremely interested in, if it would get a little bit cheaper, it's not that expensive, but IKEA is making smart blinds.
Ah. Okay.
They're like the roll-away type blinds.
Yeah.
And they're blackout blinds too.
Oh.
Which is also like really nice for me because I work graveyard.
Yep.
So I want to have a nice dark room when I'm sleeping during the day.
Yep.
And just being able to say, like, tell Google, or it works with Alexa as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just say, hey, close the blinds.
Yeah.
And it does it.
Just set up a scene and like, hey, I'm
good
going
night.
to bed.
Yeah. And it just starts to work. I mean, right now in my bedroom, I never open the blinds.
Right.
But this would give me the opportunity to do that.
Right.
Or if I want to, I can set, like, with the Google clock, you can set routines instead of assistant on the clock. So when your alarm goes off, they can start to slowly go up.
Yeah, there you go.
Slowly brighten the room for you. And wake you up in a much nicer way than an alarm.
Instead of just like, bah!
Yeah.
Dang.
That would be really cool.
That'd be awesome.
Now, like I said, price, they don't have an exact U.S. price yet. It's supposed to be coming in April to the U.S., but the pricing in Europe is 119 euros to 159, which is right around 130 to $180 US.
Yeah.
So, like I said, not exactly cheap, but not too expensive.
not
Even
terrible.
for blinds, that's not too terrible.
Yeah,
Let alone
especially
smart
blackout
ones.
blinds.
Yeah.
Like, that's
So that's kind of cool. I'm
for
excited
sure.
to see. I kind of want that. Don't know if I'll ever get it,
Well,
but I kind of want it. The next thing that shouldn't be a thing is the GE Kitchen Hub. And what this is,
oh man,
the way they're advertising this is it basically goes over your oven, kind of like where you would put a microwave with a heat vent.
Yep.
Which makes sense,
Yeah.
But no, all it is basically a big Android display, like tablet. It's not a smart display. It's running full Android with the Play Store and all that stuff. So it's basically a giant tablet.
Giant Android tablet.
That sits above your stove.
And takes up the spot where your microwave
Yes.
would be.
Yes. It's not like a microwave with an Android tablet on the front, which would actually not be a bad idea.
No, that would be great, actually.
This is just a tablet. There's no hood vent on it to let heat escape. So you got an oven sitting below it that's going to be heating it up.
Yep.
And also potentially grease and other things splattering onto it.
Yep. And if you burn something on your oven, you don't have a filtered fan to suck that up and filter out air. And you don't have a microwave anymore either. It's I don't know. They made the assumption that every kitchen has this space. And they're right. Pretty much every modern kitchen does have that space. Frequently, it is directly over the oven. That's not a bad assumption. But to make the assumption that you want to replace the functionality that you get from the microwave and the vent directly above your oven with a gigantic Android tablet that does neither of the things that you use a microwave or that vent for seems really ill-informed.
And by gigantic, we mean 27-inch touchscreen.
Yeah, that's a big Android tablet.
It's big. And Android tablets have never been good. I'd never recommend them. This thing costs starting at $1,200.
Yep.
Or you can go up to $1,400
Oh,
if you want. I don't know what the difference is.
probably storage.
There you go. I mean, the placement of it's okay. The level placement of it makes sense. Having it at standing eye level makes sense because it does have a camera. You can video call and stuff like that on it. So that's kind of cool.
And you can be standing over your oven and here's a recipe video on YouTube.
Right. Or just display a recipe right in front of your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great.
It makes sense. But again, I kind of wish they would build a microwave behind it.
Yeah. Put it in the door of a microwave. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. Especially if it's an OLED panel, you can kind of make it so you can see through it to see what's in the microwave.
That is true, actually. You can do that. Yep, see-through OLED panels are a thing.
Come on, GE. We're giving you a brilliant idea here. You're halfway there.
Yeah.
Well, a third of the way there.
Yeah.
Just make this a little better.
Literally, they just need to take this device and replace the door of a $100 microwave with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
It's very, very interesting. All right. The next.
If you don't want to put an OLED panel on it because those are expensive, you can just put a camera on the back of it.
Hey, Samsung did that with the fridge.
Into the microwave, and then we'll show you what's in the microwave.
Samsung has a fridge that does that.
Yes.
Shows you what's inside the fridge on a screen instead of opening the fridge.
The door and letting cold air out, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. I'd rather open it. Anyways, that's all the interesting things that I thought were coming to Google Assistant. There's way more.
Yeah.
But that's just some of the things I wanted to talk about.
Yep.
All right. Next thing that I wanted to mention coming from CES is a new smart doorbell that I'm actually really intrigued by. I don't know how to pronounce this fully. Netatmo? Netatmo.
Huh.
The
Sure.
Netatmo smart doorbell. The thing that I like about this is like most of these smart doorbells like Nest and Ring and all these other companies that have these, you also have to sign up for a monthly subscription service to record anything that comes off of there.
Yes.
This one can record to an SD card or to your Dropbox or an FTP server that you have set up
Nice.
in your house.
Nice.
You don't have to have a cloud, like a separate cloud storage for this.
Yeah.
And you can access that, like you can access the SD card from your phone.
Yep.
Like you can watch the videos from your phone because it's still connected to Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like I said, Dropbox.
Mhm.
There you go.
So it's a good application for
Yeah.
120 that 128 gig SD card that you bought that you now have absolutely no use for because you don't take pictures and stuff.
Right. You can throw it into this, and
There you go. Here's a use.
yeah, I'm really interested. The downside, at least for me, is currently it's only HomeKit supported,
Really?
which is weird.
That is super weird.
Of all the ones to only be supported by HomeKit,
Wow.
yeah,
I want to buy one now just to support
Yeah.
them. Like, oh, good job. You did HomeKit first.
right. As of now, there's no price or availability. They're saying second half of the year, so I would
Okay.
assume by then they'll have Google and Alexa support.
Probably. Yeah.
But it's interesting that as of now, it's only HomeKit
Just
because that's like the least supported
Yeah. Yeah.
smart home.
Well, it's the most
Thing.
expensive and the hardest to
Right.
develop for.
Right.
Like, it's
It's
there's a
just
reason for
odd.
that.
It's odd.
It's also the easiest to use. That's like the
Right.
thing about HomeKit is, yes, it's super simple to use, but you're required to, in order to get like the HomeKit certification, you have to jump through so many hoops.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine. That maybe that was what they were thinking. They were like, we want to have all three. And so we're going to shoot for HomeKit first, because if we can get HomeKit, then getting Google and Alexa is really easy after
Right.
that. Like, maybe that's what they were doing.
Maybe. I don't know. But
Weird.
I'm really intrigued by this because of not having to pay
Yeah.
a monthly fee
Yeah.
to
Oh, yeah.
actually
That's-
use the
That's
product
great.
to record, I guess. You can still use those other ones without having that monthly fee.
Right.
You just can't record what you're
Right.
doing, at least
So
not that I know of. There might be
if
ways
you're
around
not
it.
looking at the camera when somebody comes onto your doorstep and steals
Right.
a package, then
I mean,
you
you can
don't
still
get
be
it.
alerted by these other ones
yeah.
if there's movement,
Yeah.
but depending on where you live, that could get really annoying really quick.
Yes, it could.
But anyways, okay, that's all of my news from CES I want to talk about. There is some other news that I want to talk about, and this is along the lines of the smart doorbell. It's unfortunate news.
Yeah.
Ring, which is owned by Amazon,
Oh, man.
gave unrestricted access to employees of all video
Yep.
for everybody that has a Ring doorbell.
Well, it's their doorbells and their security cameras.
Yeah. And this started in
So-
2016.
Yeah. I mean, so little bit more detail. The sources that that leaked this information from Ring were our current Ring employees, from what I understand, did say that started before the company was purchased by Amazon.
Yes, Amazon purchased them in 2017.
Yes, and after Amazon purchased them, then a lot of that got locked down. Like, it didn't necessarily stop. What was happening is they were taking these video feeds from customers that actually had the thing installed and working. They were sending them to their their deep learning team that was basically just trying to improve object recognition in their software. And so they would go through these video feeds and they would like, oh, that's a person, that's a vehicle, that's a whatever. And they would manually mark this stuff so that the machine learning algorithms in their data center could learn what those things were.
Right.
So that's what they were doing with the information. But the fact of the matter is they had unrestricted access to people's personal video feeds from their devices with absolutely no like acknowledgement or anything that they were doing that. Amazon bought them, and Amazon tightened that down a little bit. They made it so that there were very strict security protocols involved before an employee was allowed to view that stuff. And they also like made it so that those video feeds were only coming from customers that had opted into the program, but it was basically like customers had opted into, would you like to share your data with Amazon kind of thing. And they did not specifically say that share your data means our employees can look at everything that your camera sees anytime they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for, like, you know, some people probably hear that and they're like, okay, so they can see what's going on in front of my front door whenever they want. That doesn't really matter. But security cameras as well.
Cameras inside your
you
home.
can have those inside your house. That's a massive violation of privacy.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been a decent fan of Ring doorbells at least for a while. That's
good products.
Like until Nest came out with one, the Ring was my number one. It's like that's what I want to buy. I mean, I now for a while have wanted to buy a Nest. I've talked to people that have owned both, and they say Nest is the better one.
Yeah, and
that kind of makes sense. Nest has really good products, but so now I'm kind of more on that side.
Yeah. Well,
actually, now I'm more on that Natopmo one.
Well, right. Yeah.
But I mean, Ring still. I mean, it's a good product.
It is.
It works well.
It is.
But
they're reasonably priced.
It's just really unfortunate.
It is. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like that is whoa. And it's one of those things where, like, I mean, I don't know. If Apple had a smart doorbell that had a camera on it and stuff like that, people would constantly be making fun of it for not having as good of object recognition for cars and stuff. And there would be memes all over the internet about how stupid Apple's doorbell was about whatever. But the fact of the matter is, yes, it would be worse at this kind of thing because Apple isn't hijacking people's video
right
to improve it.
Yeah.
That's kind of a huge deal to me. So,
and another thing, like if Apple were to do it, it would be encrypted on device.
Yeah.
Or encrypted to your phone and whatnot.
Yeah. And it would never touch their servers.
No.
At some point in time, the U.S. government would come to them and would be like, hey, we need access to the video feeds for such and such a customer's house because you had security cameras in there and stuff like that. And Apple would be like,
sorry,
we don't have that.
We can't give it.
Like,
to you.
We've never had that. We don't have the ability to access that. And that feels like that should be for security cameras. That should be the default. If a company sells you a security camera and then the government goes to that company and wants access to the video feed from your security camera, that company should not be able to say, we're not going to give that to you because we respect our customers' privacy. The company should be saying, we can't do that. We don't have it. What are you even asking for? Like, no. It's a security camera that's on their premises.
Yeah.
If it's not recorded somewhere there, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing to have happened.
Yep.
And for now, I'm just going to say I don't recommend buying a Ring anymore.
No.
And until things drastically change, I'm not going to recommend buying a Ring.
Nope.
Doorbell or any product from them.
And the fact of the matter is, Ring is owned by Amazon. Amazon is selling Echo devices that have cameras on them.
Yeah.
I'd be wary about those.
Yeah. Now, as far as this goes, from what I understand, it's only the Ring products.
Yes, that's all we have confirmation of.
They are still their own separate company. They're just owned by Amazon.
Yep. But the fact, like, Amazon came in and made changes to their policy regarding this, and those changes were not to obliterate this policy. They were just to make changes to it. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Doesn't mean Amazon's not doing this.
Yep. It just means we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
It's all speculation at this point.
Yeah. So, yeah, that ugh.
Good times.
It's really unfortunate for Ring.
Yay, smart homes.
But they do it to themselves.
Yep.
Okay. The next thing of general tech news I want to talk about is Samsung has announced the Galaxy S10. Their latest Unpacked event is going to be on February 20th, where we're expecting the Galaxy S10 to be announced. And we know this because on the announcement there's a giant 10. So it's going to happen. And also we're expecting potentially a Galaxy Sport smartwatch. That should be interesting to see. Some people are thinking that they're going to show off a fully functional foldable phone. They're probably not going to announce a date or price or anything on it.
But just show it off.
I could see it happening, but I don't think it will. Because if they do, that's going to be the thing that's talked about, not the S10.
True.
And they don't want that.
That's true.
Especially with the way the smartphone market is right now.
Yeah.
Every company is dropping a little bit in revenues. And I mean, the Galaxy S9 was not. It didn't
did not
sell
as
nearly
well
as well as they thought.
it.
I mean,
yeah,
that's how it is with pretty much any smartphone. I mean, even Apple, even the iPhone's not selling as well as they thought it would.
it's true. Yeah,
And
everybody has dropped their expectations.
So if your next flagship phone, you want all the press on that.
Yep.
For a while.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think that this will happen, because that will be the main talked about thing from this event if they do.
Yep.
So I could potentially see it, but I don't think it'll happen. I really hope that it doesn't happen for their sake. I hope they're not that dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be a weird thing to do. But Samsung has done weird things before.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they're doing a foldable phone is weird in and of itself.
A little bit weird, yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention, there are leaks for this phone, and it's got the hole punch.
Yeah.
Which we were expecting.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
No.
I've kind of gotten a little more used to it. It doesn't look as bad as I initially thought, but I prefer like the small, the 1 Plus 6T, the little
that's a great
teardrop notch. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, it totally is. It totally is.
At first, we were kind of like confused because the camera cutout is in the corner.
Yeah,
and we were like, wait a minute, what's going to happen there? But I realized that inside of Android, it does support a corner notch. You can go into your developer settings and for some stupid reason enable that if you want. You can do that.
For testing purposes, presumably.
Yeah, again, developer options.
Yeah.
You have to enable developer options, and you have to know how to do that, for one. But, so, I mean, it is supported in Android to have that part of the screen not doing something.
Yeah.
So it works, but it's just weird.
It
doesn't look
strange.
normal.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, like I said, I don't like the concept of having a pop-up face selfie camera, because that motor is going to break eventually.
Right.
And, I'd just rather not. So in that regard, I do consider this to be a better solution than that.
Right.
But that being said, I honestly think that if Samsung wanted to continue to stand out from the crowd and not have a notch, just keep the forehead.
Yeah. Take away the chin. Keep
nothing
the
wrong with that. I don't think they can take away the chin because of a patent that Apple has. That is the reason that every quote unquote full screen device that isn't an iPhone still has a little bit of a chin. There's something that Apple has a patent on that prevents them from doing that. I honestly think it might actually be the way that the display controller is wrapped around onto the backside of the OLED panel. So, Samsung's going to have a chin of some kind, or either that or put the display controller up at the top in the forehead, which I guess is an option. But
right.
They got to do something.
But then you don't have room for a camera.
Right.
So, I mean,
probably keep the chin. But, honestly, just leave the forehead. I think that that's a good solution.
I mean, their phones still look really good.
Yeah.
The front of their phones have not looked bad.
They're very clean.
Yeah.
They really are very clean.
Yeah.
And I suppose you run the risk of this is just another version of the S8.
Right.
Which, okay, yeah, that's a problem.
I get that.
They want to convince people to upgrade, but I don't think the hole punch is a good way to convince people to upgrade.
Yeah.
I think
that's
bad.
Yeah, it's interesting. One thing I thought was also interesting is, so Evan Blass is who leaked this, and he's usually very reliable.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
In a sub-tweet to the main tweet that he put out, he's claiming that it can wirelessly charge other devices. Which is really cool.
That's kind of nice.
So, say your friend's phone is dying and it can wirelessly charge. You can throw it on this and it'll charge it.
Yeah.
Or your watch or something like that.
Yeah.
Throw it onto this and it'll charge it, which is pretty cool.
That's nice.
I mean, there's not very many places to use that. Although their watches, I want to say their latest ones are Qi enabled.
Yeah, I think so.
And I would imagine if this new watch they're coming out with probably would be as well.
Yes.
So yeah, charge your watch on your phone.
Yeah. And it's
smart.
It's the kind of thing that sounds kind of silly until it saves your life, or somebody else needs a phone charge, and you can just like slap your Galaxy on the table face
Right.
down and then put their phone on top of it and it starts charging. Like,
Yeah.
cool. That's awesome.
Or just hold it on the back of your phone while you still use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that could work. I don't know if I'd really trust that, but you could. But yeah, it'll be interesting. So February 20th, we got a little over a month before we
Nice.
learn everything about it. But yeah, I'm interested to see.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So, all right. The next thing that I want to talk about is some Google news. So, Android Q has almost been confirmed to have a system-wide dark mode. And I like that.
Yeah, you would.
I do. I do. Google has been putting in most of their apps a dark mode.
Yeah.
And I have been enabling that in all of said apps. Because I like it. I do like the bright colors and all that stuff that all these companies have gone to. But when you have an LED screen, why not make a dark mode?
Yeah.
Save the battery.
Yep.
If you want that option.
Yep.
And they've made it so it looks good too. So the thing it was a person that works for Chromium or on the Chromium stuff inside of Google. He put inside, let's see, it's a post in the Chromium bug tracker. So a Google place from someone that works at Google said, stupid freaking Google Assistant, go away. But anyways, a person that works for Google said, dark mode is an approved Q feature. The Q team wants to ensure that all preloaded apps support dark mode natively. In order to ship dark mode successfully, we need all UI elements to be ideally themed by May 2019.
Huh.
So,
okay.
That's beta 2.
Yep.
Dark mode. Now, whether or not it'll actually come out with the full release of Q, that's obviously yet to be seen. Because there's features in beta versions that are there the entire beta and then gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
That happens on Android, that happens on iOS.
Yeah,
it just happens.
Sure does.
It's an unfortunate thing, but it happens. But it's interesting. You know, I mean, there's been rumors, or it's not rumors, but like Google has been working on dark mode for Chrome for a while now. And so that's why this got brought up. But the fact that he specifically said Android Q has dark mode, you know.
Yeah.
That's
the one thing that Windows has done right with all of the other things that they have done is sticking with a nice dark color scheme
right
for Windows.
Yeah.
And it's been until just recently, well, just the last version of Mac OS, that system-wide dark mode, including all of the built-in apps, was finally enabled.
And they did it when on the release of the iMac Pro with the space gray, and looked good. I think it came out of the box enabled in dark mode because it just looked better.
And it's really like professionals like that, because if you're staring at a screen all day, especially if it's in a dark room, like a, I don't know, recording studio or like an editing booth or something like that at, like if you're doing editing post in movies and that kind of thing, you really want your computer to be producing as little light as possible, because otherwise it strains your eyes.
And I mean, developers in general, if you look at the majority of code writing apps, they're all black backgrounds with with color
like, they
text.
don't even have other options frequently
because they're staring at a screen for so long.
Yeah,
you know,
frequently in dark rooms
sense.
Because they're like mole people basically. But
pretty much.
But yeah, it's a good thing to have the whole OS built that way, and if especially for like Chrome, for Chromebooks and stuff like that, Chrome OS, it makes a lot of sense that Google would be trying to push toward a dark mode for that kind of thing if they want professionals to start taking the platform seriously. Yeah.
This same person later on in this bug tracker also said, and this gives even more it's going to be there type hints. He says, if you look for it under settings, display, dark mode. Duh.
There it is.
So I'm looking forward to that because, again, I've enabled dark mode in all of my Google apps that have it. Twitter, I use the night mode. It just, I just like it. It looks good. Yeah. So that, I'm kind of excited for that. That should be fun. Okay. Let's see. What else do I have? I think that's everything.
Okay.
Google-wise. Well, I guess that's everything just in general for me because I don't have gaming news. Oh, no. I remembered one more thing. My one more thing.
Oh.
Because
Why
I
didn't you
always
save
have one
it
more
till
thing.
the end. Come on.
It's not as fun. I'm not Apple. Let's see. Another Google Assistant thing. This, actually, I'm surprised this took as long as it did, and I'm very excited for it. So Google Assistant is gaining flight check-ins, hotel booking, interpreter mode, and adding more features to the lock screen. So flight check-ins, I mean, they've had, like, you can obviously, you've been able to get your boarding pass inside of Google for a while.
Right. Yeah.
Because they pull from Gmail, and if you get it emailed to you, it's just going to be there, and it shows up when you need it. And it's really nice. But being able to check in from there,
yes,
that's cool. And also, book a hotel, just ask Google to do it, and it'll do it.
Yeah,
which kind of potentially required the calling thing that they've now had.
Yeah.
Before, which
that makes sense.
But though, I mean, you can do this online too.
Yeah, they're probably going to try and do it online if at all possible.
Yeah, that would make the most sense.
Yes,
but that's kind of cool. Interpreter mode. This is actually really cool. So on the Google Pixel Buds, the wireless headphones that they announced a while ago, and also on the earbuds that came with my phone, I believe have this, I think as well, where you can be talking to someone if they're talking a different language, it'll listen then tell you.
Yeah.
Interpreter mode, basically you can set your phone down on the table and it'll do that same thing. You can have a conversation back and forth with someone and not have to have an interpreter there with you. It'll just
you say something, it translates it into their language. They say something and it translates it into yours.
Yeah.
And it just goes back and forth.
And that's really cool.
That's
I don't think
awesome.
I'm ever going to use it. That's a lie. I'm not going to need to use it in most cases, but I'm going to try this out. I have friends that speak multiple languages.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, when this comes out, I'm going to be like, hey, talk to me in whatever language you speak that's not English, and let's see how this works.
Let's see. Yeah.
I want to test it out. I think Google Translate's not the best thing in the world. None of these translation things really are.
No.
But Google, I think, is probably the better of the options.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell if something's written in Google Translate, but it's not horribly
good enough.
Yeah, it's
like
good
that's
enough.
the thing. It's good enough that you can understand, and that's the point.
Yes. I say this, and like all the things making fun of Google Assistant are ones that are translating into one language and then translating back to English.
Yeah.
And that's where it can really fall apart, and it's quite hilarious.
Yeah. Well, and if you really want it to be hilarious, what you do is you translate it into one language and then into another language and then into another language and then into another language. You go through like 16 languages before you circle back around to English.
Yeah.
And then it's hilarious.
Very. So I'm really curious to see how well this works. I'm definitely going to try it out when it's enabled, just to play around with it. And obviously it's one of those things that's going to get better over time. The more it gets used, the more it can learn. Yeah. And it'll just get better.
Yep.
And so that's kind of cool. And that is all of my news for this week.
All right. Well, gaming. I'm going to finish off with some gaming stuff from CES. There were just, I don't know, there were a bunch of gaming companies that were at CES, obviously, and they were showing off cases, they were showing off next versions of graphics cards, they were showing off their all-in-one coolers, and Alpha Cool was there showing off water cooling fixtures and stuff like that, and actually they were showing off some fixtures that allow you to do some pretty interesting bends on hard tubing and stuff like that. So, if you're an absolutely insane gamer, then yeah, all that stuff was there. There were a few highlights, though. I was kind of focused on stuff that is actually like new technology into the space, and that was kind of what I wanted to see the most of. So we'll start with Asus. The ROG brand had a couple of interesting things there. They introduced a 2080 Ti that has an integrated all-in-one cooler. That's not weird to have an integrated all-in-one water cooler. You just have a graphics card that has a couple of hoses sticking out the side and a radiator on it. That's not what this is. This has a radiator and fans and a pump attached to the graphics card. So it is... Landon just had an aneurysm. So normally the point of a water cooling loop is to take the heat from the processor die, move it away from the processor, and then run the water through a radiator and blow air through the radiator to cool it off. Works pretty well.
Yeah.
So this guy has a tubing run that is like a couple of inches that just basically lifts it like an inch away from the board into a radiator that's attached to the board and then just blows air through that.
It's got to be a really good radiator.
I'm not they're not moving the heat very far.
No.
But it's still water cooled.
Right.
And that means that they still have a lot more area for heat dissipation than a traditional air cooler would.
And it's going to be better than nothing, technically.
So really
interesting.
And the radiator itself is the size of it's 320 millimeter fans on it. So it's a big radiator, and most integrated coolers for GPUs are just like a single 120 millimeter radiator. So it's going to do more heat dissipation than that probably, but not as much as if you have a custom water loop that has a big radiator on it that actually moves the heat quite a ways away from the GPU. It probably sits somewhere in the middle there, but it's fully integrated. You just have to have room for this gigantic graphics card. You don't have to worry about mounting a radiator somewhere else in your case.
Yeah, and that's the benefit. I mean, for certain people that want to build their own computer but don't necessarily know all the best ways to do it.
Right.
This is a benefit to them.
Yes. It's an easier solution.
Now, I would just say hire someone to do it.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Get a system builder to do it for you.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still not a bad option. It's just an interesting, unique option.
It's definitely different. And since there's going to be water in this thing and it's a 2080 Ti, which means that the PCB on this is enormous, there's going to be GPU sag, so you're going to want to have something to prop up the back end of this card. Otherwise, it's going to rip the PCI slot off of your motherboard. So yeah, that was kind of a weird thing. ROG also they were showing off, no pricing details or anything like that, but they were showing off their motherboard for Intel's fake CPU that they showed off at Computex last year that had 28 cores and 56 threads that were running at 5 gigahertz. As long as it's cooled by dry ice. It was exotic cooled crap, and it was the stupidest demo ever. And it was basically a Xeon W processor that is supposedly consumer grade now, evidently. You can tell it's not consumer grade just by looking at the power delivery on this motherboard that ROG was showing off. It was insane. The number of capacitors that were involved in the power for this motherboard was stupid. So, but apparently Intel is leaning into it. They are going to release this processor, which is just a high-end Xeon that has allowed overclocking and is going to be made available in their high-end desktop platform. Nobody's
going to buy.
Well, yeah, the people who...
Well, very few people are going to buy.
Right. The people who you will see using this are the YouTubers that do overclocking competitions and stuff like that. So the last thing from ROG that I wanted to talk about is the mothership. Actual product name.
Nice.
Which is great.
In a time with really bad product names, I like that
I can appreciate this one.
Yep.
Especially when you hear what this is. So this is a gaming laptop, except it's not. Because you really would not want to put this thing on your lap. Now that is the case for most high-end gaming laptops. They weigh 28 pounds and they blow 150 degree air onto your knees. So you don't want those on your lap. You put them on a desk. They're portable gaming machines or desktop replacement machines. Yeah. They're not laptops. ROG kind of recognized this and they leaned into it. And so instead of trying to put all of the electronics and all of the cooling and crap like that into the base of the laptop below the keyboard, where you're restricted in your airflow because you're blowing down into or sucking up from the table, which is, not super permeable to air.
Weird.
They've moved all of the electronics up behind the monitor.
Huh.
And like Surface style, Microsoft Surface style, there's a kickstand for this thing that pops out there. And then you just get a lot more airflow for the system out of the back there. And they're saying much better airflow means a lot lower temperatures, which means better performance out of your components and a longer lifespan for them as well.
Right.
So all good things. Keyboard flops down in the front. You have a little kickstand. You set it up on a desk, and keyboard also detaches.
Which I would hope.
Yeah. And it's wireless. So, it detaches, and then you can use the thing as a wireless keyboard. So it's less of a laptop and more like an all-in-one computer.
Portable.
That is more portable than most all-in-ones. Basically just meaning that the keyboard attaches to the front, has a trackpad on it. But, I mean, you plug a gaming mouse into this thing and detach the keyboard, it's a full-on gaming desktop. And then you can attach the keyboard to it and carry it to a meeting if you're crazy. The battery that's in this thing means you're going to get maybe 2 hours of battery life if you're lucky.
Yeah,
so
carry around a giant battery with you too.
Yeah, you just take the power brick. It's a
Where's the fun in that?
The battery in
You can't play in the park with a cord.
You can't play in the park with one of these things.
You can't.
That's what the Switch is for. No, the mothership, like a lot of other desktop replacement laptop, quote unquote, it's the reason it has a battery is more so that you don't ever have to turn it off. You can put it to sleep, carry it to where you want to go, plug it in, wake it back up.
Yeah.
But yeah, the mothership. I thought that was a really clever way. Instead of going with the stupid, here's a 21-inch laptop that has a curved display on it and is 5 inches thick because it's got these beefy heat sinks and it sits 3 inches off. I know they did. It was a terrible idea. This is much better.
I loved that curved laptop display. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I never want to buy it, but it was cool.
Still going to go with this is a better solution.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, that was pretty cool. Okay, moving on to Razer. So Razer, they manufacture gaming peripherals, pretty much. That's what they do. They had a couple of interesting things there. They had a monitor that had integrated cables on it. So instead of having inputs, it had cables, which was kind of interesting. They were all integrated into the stand. That gives you a very clean aesthetic on the front. And then you had a HDMI cable out the back. You had a DisplayPort cable out the back. You had a USB-C, so DisplayPort over USB-C cable. You had a USB cable out the back. You had audio out the back. Like a bunch of different stuff just kind of integrated into the stand that had cable routing and cable management already taken care of to get it off the back of your desk. And after that, it's just loose cables that you do your own cable management with. I thought that was interesting.
It's interesting. The thing I don't like about it is if you're not using some of those ports, you still have a cable there.
Yeah.
That's not as clean. Also, I would imagine this is probably more difficult to replace said input if one goes out for some weird reason.
Now, I am not totally clear on how removable they are.
That's what I mean.
They're integrated into the thing as far as cable management and stuff like that. There's no visible ports on the back of the computer.
And that's why I think with regular ports, if you need to, they can be replaced. Well, it may not be easy, but it can be done.
There might be regular ports inside the computer. They're just not on the outside of the computer. It might be the kind of thing, there's a panel on the back. You take the panel off. It's normal ports. You can remove the cables. I'm just not 100% clear on exactly how that works.
That would make this more... I would be perfectly fine with this.
Right.
But if it's not that, if their cables are just randomly integrated into the thing, it's like, oof.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I couldn't find anybody who had provided any detail on that. And from what I could see via the images and video that I saw, they just had a bunch of cables hanging off the back of the table. So I'm not sure.
Somebody needs to tear this thing apart.
It would make a heck of a lot more sense if there was a panel back there you could remove and pull the cables out. Then it's just integrated cable routing, and they provide you with all of the cables when you buy the monitor, which is kind of nice. Yeah. Because that doesn't frequently happen. The other thing that Razer had was so Razer recently released a set of headphones that have haptic feedback in them. Now,
Interesting.
so
If you get shot in the head, does it poke you really hard?
well, kind of. I mean, let's be honest. Headphones are haptic feedback devices.
Right.
That's what they do. And so basically what they've done is they have taken like vibrators and put them into the cups of the headsets
So interesting.
that are basically, they're kind of using them the same way that a subwoofer might get
Yeah.
used. So that was that. They also, at CES, so those headphones have been released. At CES, they introduced a keyboard, palm rest, a mouse, and like not a chair, but like a lumbar support for a chair that
All
you
with
could add to your
haptics?
chair that have haptics
Oh,
in them.
The chair makes sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Well,
cool.
and the
I
mouse
guess the
and
mouse,
like
yeah,
stuff. So basically, if you pair the headphones with the mouse and the keyboard palm rest and the chair thing,
You're going to be shaking all over the place.
right? And it's, from what I understand, this is a gaming only thing. Like if you're this is not like, you don't want to listen to music or watch movies this way or anything like that. It does not add to the experience, from what I have heard. But for games, well, and not all games, like strategy games and stuff like that is probably not going to be a big moneymaker. But first-person shooters, that's the kind of thing that this would work well for. So something to keep an eye on if you have a lot of money to blow on gaming peripherals
That
for
you
your
don't need.
desktop setup. And you also have a whole bunch of like USB ports that you're not using on your computer that you want to plug vibrators into.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. So yeah, that was Razer. Alienware next. I don't frequently talk about Alienware since they got bought by Dell, because all their stuff is kind of boring, as weird as that may sound.
They've kind of just
now that
plateaued.
Dell is in charge.
They've plateaued since, like, I remember Alienware was huge for a long time.
Yeah.
And then, when Dell bought them, it just kind of, they didn't go anywhere. They haven't gotten necessarily worse, but they haven't really
They keep up.
raised at all.
They keep up, but that's it. They don't take risks or do anything exciting. Now, that said, at CES, they had a 4K gaming OLED monitor. There's a big risk with OLED in gaming because games have a HUD that is always on screen in the same place all the time.
Right.
And OLEDs burn in. So that is a big risk there. But Dell is Alienware rather, is leaning into it. They released a gaming laptop last year, the year before, that had an OLED display on it. And they had burn-in issues.
Right.
And now they're releasing a monitor that is OLED that will probably have burn-in issues.
Yeah.
So,
but I will say, like, the Dell displays that I've used in the past for being just random ones that are thrown in with all-in-ones are pretty good.
No, they are. They do a good job.
I get, the burn-in issue is going to be a big issue.
Yes.
On any game that you're playing.
Yep.
Unless games start taking that, like making that go in and out for some weird reason.
Yeah. Like I'm not sure what they're doing to try and solve that problem. And it honestly might be as simple as like taking the entire display, shrinking a little bit, and then slowly drifting it in a circle or something like that. So that those pixels are changing.
That would work.
I don't know.
Wouldn't be the best option, but it would work.
No. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
All of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I'm over here
now. Alienware also, and this is actually kind of cool, they announced an entirely upgradable gaming laptop. So typically when you buy a gaming laptop, you're kind of like, you can upgrade storage, you can upgrade RAM. That's about it. Like you typically aren't expecting to be able to like pull the CPU out and swap it out but this thing has a full-size desktop LGA 1151 processor socket in it that you can swap out any Intel processor into that you want that supports that socket. The graphics are on a daughter board. They're not like the graphics chip isn't soldered to the motherboard. Now, the daughter board isn't using like a standard connection of any kind, but Alienware has said that they are going to continue to support graphics cards in that form factor for as long as they can. They're leaning into it. They want to try and make it their standard. When they make laptop graphics, they're going to put them on this board so that if you want to swap it out at some point in the future, you can. And what was interesting to me about that is that the video outputs for the laptop, they're on the back of the case, which is where this daughter board is. They're attached to the daughter board. So if you swap out your graphics card in this laptop for a newer one that has HDMI 2.1 instead of HDMI 2, you get an HDMI 2.1 port.
Interesting.
So your ports can get upgraded too.
That's kind of nice.
That is. Like, that's kind of cool. I don't know whether or not they're actually going to be sporting it because, like I said, it's their special proprietary little thing, but just the fact that it's an option at all, that's kind of cool. Okay. Corsair. Let's talk about Corsair for a minute. Slipstream. That was kind of their big thing. Slipstream is an RF wireless technology that they use for wireless mice, wireless keyboards, wireless headphones, whatever. They want it in every peripheral that they offer so that you can have super low latency wireless connectivity for these devices. One of the big reasons that like wireless mice haven't caught in competitive gaming or anything like that is because of the latency introduced by a Bluetooth connection or the risk that comes with a traditional RF dongle connection. Just that interference might cause you to lose control and stuff like that, especially at a LAN party or something like that, where there's a lot of interference and signal noise. So Slipstream is supposed to solve all those problems. Has super low latency that is almost as good as having a wire plugged in, honestly. It's really pretty cool. Drains the battery faster than traditional Bluetooth or something like that, but if you're really sold on, I need wireless gaming peripherals, but I don't want to worry about latency and connectivity, Slipstream might be the solution to that. So Corsair's got it. Check it out. They also introduced some devices that they've been working with somebody, I can't remember who it was, that makes LEDs. But so when you mount an LED to something, typically you have like this like opaque white housing around the LED. It's this little box. If you look at an LED strip, you'll see it. And that's not a part of the LED. That's just like a housing around the light emitting diode that needs to be there for some reason. But apparently it doesn't actually need to be there because Corsair, in partnership with these other people, have gotten rid of it. So it's not like micro LED technology, but they can pack a whole bunch of LEDs really close together into these grids that are basically like really low resolution screens. And that's what they want to use to do the RGB for all of their products in the future. Which means that instead of your fan just lighting up a bunch of different colors, it could freaking display text and stuff like that around the edges if you wanted. So
interesting.
That's kind of cool. Okay. Couple of things that NVIDIA did, and then I'm done. First of all, January 15th, so actually by the time some of you are listening to this, they're dropping drivers for their GeForce cards that are going to enable FreeSync support on monitors. If you don't know what those words mean, you probably don't care about this, so, you can just ignore it. But that is kind of a big deal. FreeSync is traditionally something that has been supported by AMD and is an open standard that does kind of the same thing as G-Sync has always done, but G-Sync accomplishes it with a proprietary module that has to be installed in the display and only works with NVIDIA's graphics cards. So FreeSync is maybe not quite as good, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper. Like you can get a FreeSync monitor that costs like $500 less than the NVIDIA version, even though everything else is the same. One is FreeSync, one is G-Sync, and the price difference is hundreds of dollars. And top that off with NVIDIA's graphics cards typically costing less, and you can get the same kind of performance not NVIDIA's, AMD's graphics cards costing a lot less. You get the same kind of performance as you get out of a G-Sync setup for a lot less money. NVIDIA's kind of embracing that. So now you can get the cheap monitors and use the FreeSync support with your NVIDIA graphics card. That's kind of cool. The other thing they did was release the RTX 2060, which I'm just going to sum up. It's faster than the GTX 1070 was, costs the same as the GTX 1070 did at launch, but is not fast enough to actually play RTX titles. At least not Battlefield 5, which is literally the only RTX title we have to test with. Nothing else works. So, I don't know. I don't think the RTX 2060 is worth money. Especially if you take seriously the rumors that NVIDIA is developing a GTX line of graphics cards for this year, and that the 1160 might very well be coming soon and will cost at least $100 less than this thing for the same graphics performance minus the RTX stuff.
Which
the
nobody
2060 can't do. And even if it could, there's literally only one game that supports it right now anyways.
Yeah.
So basically, don't buy the RTX 2060. Let's see if this 1160 comes out. And even if it doesn't, well, the Radeon 7's coming, which means that, maybe cheaper Radeon cards are coming too, which means that maybe NVIDIA can suck it as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, that is the last of the CES news that I have.
All right.
Do you have another one more thing?
I do not.
Okay. That is CES 2019, ladies and gentlemen. And,
yeah,
we made it. Wes, really appreciate all of your input.
Very much
Thank
so.
you very much.
Thank you.
Microsoft may have announced a whole bunch of stuff. We just don't know.
It's true. I didn't hear about
probably
much,
they
if
didn't.
anything.
I'm pretty sure that most of the outlets that I checked would have said something. If they had. But yeah, I think that's it. So thank you for joining us once again. And, holy cow, what kinds of things does Wes say when he's wrapping up the show? I don't even know.
Go check out our YouTube channel.
So you check out the YouTube channel, Calling All Platforms. We have done some streaming lately on Mixer.
Mm-hmm.
You can find us. Wes is Sir Durf. I'm Dakad. We have a team on there that is Calling All Platforms, so you can also search for that. And the website, it's callingallplatforms.com. You can email us questions and stuff at captechpod, right? At gmail.com.
No, podcast
at callingallplatforms.com. You're right. Twitter is at captechpod. Yes, that's what it is.
You can also
there. Follow us on Twitter and tweet at us if you want.
Yeah, we might see it.
Yep. So it turns out I can mess this up worse than Wes, in case anyone was wondering. Now we know. Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful week.
See ya.